morning, everyone. Welcome to Talking Horses. Anthony Stabile and Andy Serling on an absolutely glorious day here at Belmont, a lovely week here at Belmont. Looking forward to the weekend, the first grade one of the year, the Man of War. First and foremost,
at Belmont,
first grade, right? Second grade
first
one
on
Naira,
turf
thank
too.
you. First on turf. Well, a lot of firsts. We're all full of firsts here. Not the first time we're telling you to go to Naira Bets, though. We'd like it to be the last, though, because we'd like you not to just everybody signs
We
up.
have a few things we don't want to tell you about anymore.
Match 200. Yeah, match 200. We will match for $200 of your initial deposit. Head over to Naira Bets. Of course, Spreeton is coming up. 8 days. They draw that Monday.
I was going to ask you, but I'm pretty sure they did it on Monday last year.
Yeah, they usually draw the Black Eyed Susan Friday card on
Sunday.
And I'll have to look at their condition book. It's not hard to find condition books, guys, by the way. Just go to Equibase. It's very easy. They're all available.
The indexes
it's easier
than
asking asking me on Twitter, as a matter of fact.
Indices, I guess, not indexes.
I just invited 500 people to ask me where I can find the draw on Twitter.
Yep.
What else we got? Oh, by the way, we got a $50 bonus, 75 or more at Belmont and Santa Anita. They are still at Santa Anita. Our friend Frank Miramati calling there.
Talked to Frank last night.
Naira Bets. I'm sorry. Is he okay?
He's good.
Did he get over it?
He's okay.
Opted over at Naira Bets. $15 win or lose. Middle pick 4, race number 3. 2, 3, and 6 are the pick 4s today. And last but not least, we are on from 2 to 5:30, America's Day at the Races. It'll actually be a rare grouping of Greg, Acacia, and myself on the upstairs desk. Maggie, of course, will be in the paddock, where she's getting some well-deserved nice weather after some undeserved lousy weather quite often over the course of the winter.
Wherever she was, too. I mean, she brought tornadoes to Oaklawn.
Yeah, she did. She did. No, that was partly LaDuca's fault. Let's be fair. Not totally hers. Anyway,
the weather when LaDuca left was the most amazing weather at Oaklawn Park they've seen.
Well, it was
in
also
years.
the end of the meet in May. I mean, the guy, believe me, Paul LaDuca's job for us at Oaklawn Park should never be forgotten. The man did a tremendous job there. As anyone watching the shows, yes, and we're all just kidding around, but Paulie, and he had great opinions during the meet, too. I mean, he really did. Very strong. Race number 1 at Belmont Park. We got a horse with experience versus 5 without. The number 3, Mischief Joke. I wanted to show some of the stretch run. Thought the horse did well in there. I mean, you could argue picking up some pieces in the race, but I also thought this horse was extremely green. You could make an argument, Anthony, that Bledsoe was a highly regarded, don't know if he'll end up being good, Wesley Ward horse, private purchase since this race. You could argue if this horse wasn't green, he would have won.
He would have won.
I mean, look at him ducking in behind horses in the purple silks.
Those 2 moves he made, the one zag in and the one zig out, probably it sounds like a Spice Girls song at this point. If he runs a straight line, probably gets the job done.
Yeah, I took him on the experience, and he's likely to be the favorite. So, am I correct? You picked the Charlestown Steam here?
No.
Did I have it wrong? I, for some reason, thought you picked the
Charlestown
2 in this
Steam.
race. I thought you picked the 2 in here, and I'm thinking Anthony may have some Charlestown Steam.
I've been driven crazy lately, but I have not been driven that crazy, my friend.
Well, there could always be Charlestown Steam.
I guess.
Eric Zimney could have called with the big Charlestown Steam.
I'm going to try and stay away from everything West Virginia.
Charlestown. Really?
Yeah.
I saw the Dead in Morgantown, actually. They have a really interesting arena, the basketball arena. It's almost like there's a basketball court and there's a circle circumscribed around it, so it goes straight up with a very small floor. Yeah, it's a kind of a weird building.
What year was
actually.
that?
1983.
I drove through there for the...
If you drive to Kentucky, you drive through there?
One year I didn't, though.
No?
No, one year I went through. 08 I went through. 09 was the most harrowing experience of my life.
If you take the drive to the Pennsylvania Turnpike and you go and then you get into West Virginia, you pass Huntington and Morgantown, you drop down to Charleston.
That's what I did.
You drive by what famous American landmark? Which I would never have. It's in the Maryland portion of the trip. It's not in West Virginia.
In the Maryland portion of the trip.
You drive right by a very famous, where I found out where it was, Camp David.
Really?
Yeah, Camp David is right. I mean, it's not sitting on the highway when he waved the president, but yeah, Camp David is on that route that goes, if you drop down into Maryland, and then you go Maryland to West Virginia, the way straight down.
The worst mountains in the history of mankind.
I always liked that drive. I always enjoyed that drive, actually. I made that drive quite a few times.
My
Anyway,
was a terrible co-navigator.
The 5, what you talking about? You were right on your Wesley Ward steam yesterday in the sense that you had the right Wesley Ward horse. He just wasn't that good. Though Tom Morley's horse was very impressive, and congrats. No, it's Keenana. Keenana.
Sounds like a Rihanna
I think I got it wrong. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a place or a song.
Got to the lead and kept going.
Our friend Dan Summers, who works with us, has the 6-Valier Arrow.
He does.
I picked him 4th at least. I showed a little loyalty to the home team here. You, on the other hand, have him nowhere. This horse was an MTO in yesterday's race. We're going to go with the horse and experience. We'll see what the firsters have to offer. No surprise, Wesley's taking some money to start out. We'll see how he gets bet. And Wesley had a better Keeneland with his 2-year-olds than last year, but we'll see.
Not a Wesley-like Keeneland, though.
Not like last year was a disaster.
Yeah.
No, last year was a disaster.
No, but I mean,
2-year-olds all year.
Years past. Yeah.
Yes. No, I think also people are getting more hip to getting a little more aggressive and getting them ready, too.
No doubt about it.
There's only so many horses Wesley can have as well, though he seems to have an army of horses.
They're taking a page out of Wesley's book, really.
So I'm a little disappointed to hear that the Big Invasion, Air Invasion's not going to play in race number 2. I was looking forward to seeing that one. You have taken Wesley Ward. There's 2 Wesley Wards. I've scratched into one. You've taken the other one, and we're back on the turf.
Yeah, I was told this one was the better of the 2.
So I'm dead.
Son of Ghost Hour.
So I'm already dead.
I don't know at the time. I put them 1-2.
Already finished.
I didn't really. I didn't have much information anywhere else.
How about Irad being on the Maker? Does that make you think that the Maker can run? That Irad not on a Wesley Ward but on a Maker?
Yeah.
Or is it just maybe he took the call and didn't know Wesley was coming, or because he rides so many of them, right?
So many of them. Yeah. And Jose Ortiz, who pinch hits on Heathcliff. He's only ridden. I'd have lost money on this. He's only ridden 25 horses for Wesley. Jose in the last 16 and a half months.
That sounds like a lot to me, to be honest.
Really? In 16 and a half, that's 1.5 a month.
Well, wait a second. How many horses is Wesley running where he is?
Jose spent a lot of the last 2 meets at Keeneland. And all
but
Saratoga.
Irad, Johnny, and Joel Rosario seem to ride almost all of them. I mean, to be honest with you, I would have guessed. I would have guessed much lower. I'd have guessed 8.
Well, it's 25. And he's 20%, so 5 for 25.
The funny thing about Ship
Jose's riding well.
Isn't the funny thing about Ship Cadet? This horse was bought. Was that a Washington sale?
It could have very well been a Washington sale since he's a Calbred.
I mean, a Calbred bought a Washington sale. You sort of would like to know the...
Joe Withy, if you're watching, send me a text and let me know if that is in fact a Washington sale. That's at the end of the Emerald meet. That's so I don't know if it coincides with the end of the Emerald meet. I don't know.
You'd sort of like to know the trajectory it took for them to get, to buy horse. I just never... I mean...
I've never seen that before.
I mean, I guess now, obviously, because so much buying can be done over the phone online that you could buy them anywhere, and that's going to change a lot of these sales. But something you just don't see. I don't think I've seen that too many times. As far as the pedigrees, I mean, the 2 has the better turf. The turf pedigree have to race to Urga. Got a 93 buyer, a couple of turf winners, a very good second dam for turf for Mourne Mountains. That's really why I took this one over the 6. I mean, obviously I said, how about the 1 for George Weaver? I thought that. I mean, George does not have great numbers for first-time starting turf sprinters, but I feel like he's always good with his 2-year-olds, and there's some okay European in there. So there's pedigree for this horse to be a runner.
State bred trying open for debut on turf.
I just always feel like George Weaver's live.
Yep.
Though he has, I was looking up stats because there's a horse in Sunday in a maiden claiming race in a turf sprint. Dreadful numbers for maiden claimers first time out, but this is not a maiden claimer. We'll see what happens in race number 2. No surprise, 2 Wesley Wards, but I hope the Big Invasion shows up soon. Looking forward to seeing that. Poor Big Invasion. It's not just that turf sprint at Churchill with the huge priced winner last week. That's one of the most improbable winners I've ever seen. And it's like, first of all, how did the horse get the lead?
Loose?
Walking.
Walking.
I mean, what chance did Big Invasion have at that point?
None.
Well, it was only $500,000. The Speeds didn't want to go for $500,000. It's a 5-furlong turf race.
Nobody went.
And nobody went. I mean, I give Larry Ravelli
nice
credit.
Day for Larry Ravelli.
Yeah, would have been a little nicer if, but his horse ran so well.
Yeah, great ride too. That horse got a really good ride.
I heard some people criticizing Loveberry and
the ride.
Gareth Loveberry, and I thought that was just about as dopey a thing as I.
Well,
I mean,
they're
the same people like us that criticize guys when they strangle down horses that want to be forward.
It's the Kentucky
Derby. He had
Derby.
to dance with the horse that brought him there. The horse ran remarkably, and came within a length of winning and
wow.
Yeah.
Look, check where the other speeds in that pace were.
And I mean, I understand he was too close. Well, it's not like he was riding the horse into the race.
No,
the horse brought
just
him
there. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Horse brought him there.
People criticize
that kid has no. He shouldn't listen to a word anybody
win
says.
for gold in race number 3. I thought ran extremely well last time, involved in that 3-horse speed duel and Nolo Contender. Now I'm picking Nolo Contesto, because I thought he spent more time on the inside. He broke a step slow, and he then spent a lot of time on the rail. They angled out in the stretch. The rail was dead this day. And the thing about Win for Gold is even though he almost survived an incredibly strong duel, it was a 3-horse duel, and he ran very well. I'm not knocking him. He did not spend any time on the rail. He got him right off the rail. Now, to be fair, Trevor got Noel Crestro off the rail, and the horse was just bearing in the stretch and lugging in, which I thought cost him. And I was thinking that, listen, the pace projector says a Win for Gold is supposed to be able to control. Is Naked and Famous really just going to let him go? Is Manny Franco going to let Kendrick go like that?
The way this horse's form has turned around since he's been aggressive out of the gate, no, Naked and Famous has to go.
But Win for Gold, I thought, ran well. You've got a Jester's Song, though, who won the other day and was claimed by Linda and comes right back.
First time Linda, as sharp as they come, this horse is going to get, I think, a good trip behind because I'm with you. I'm Naked and Famous almost has to at least press Win for Gold if he can. I think this horse gets the right trip. You know, I kind of slept this horse on Friday a little bit because he only had the one claiming race. It was off the 3 months.
He was bad in there. I needed him because I used him in Necromancer.
He wasn't good.
He got a great ride and a perfect trip from Jose.
He needed the race to
hopefully
knock the rust
will be coming back soon. Do we
maybe free to stay.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Good news. Good. Jose Lezcano, who's
I talked to Jose during
injured.
the week. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think
the problem with Jester's Song, and I put him second, and I agreed. It's Linda coming back fresh, blah, blah, blah. He got a perfect trip against a much lesser field last time.
I could have set it up, but if Naked and Famous presses Win for Gold,
we'll look at Naked and Famous'
he's going to get another good
race.
trip. And the way this horse's form has turned around in his last 2 starts, I mean, you can even go back and say 3 starts because he was pretty aggressively ridden when he won, but the track helped him that day. The last 2 races, this horse improved 22 points and then improved another 10 points, and it was all just free rolling on the front end.
Now, he was with a track last time that was extremely kind to speed, and now he's going to have to deal with Win for Gold one way or another. If you think the race is going to come apart, aside from your and I give you credit. You are the loyalist man on earth and have every Classeris horse, Bob, Steve. You're lucky there aren't like 5 brothers, so you could really get buried.
Pete used to train. You remember Pete?
Yeah, I mean, how is Always Charming supposed to survive this race?
But isn't he supposed to? Well, I mean, he's not.
I don't know what he's supposed to do.
He's not as fast as he appeared to be last time.
He can't be part of the pace in here.
Right. So I'm hoping they hit and they pick up pieces.
Okay. I like the 1 and 5.
I didn't like the way and your horse can obviously win this race. I hated his stretch run last time because he was lugging in, and I just didn't like his stretch run last time.
He has a Kentucky Derby winning rider now. Now they can say
about
it about
time
Javier.
By the way, how about that? Remember we discussed it on the show. How everybody was complaining on Twitter about how Mage had no chance because he picked up Javier Castellano. How'd that work out? You remember this? The tweets the day they announced the ride?
I don't.
You don't remember this?
We discussed this.
We discussed this for about 30 seconds. About how ridiculous everybody was sounding. The guy's a Hall of Fame rider, 5,000 races, the whole thing. You and I had a discussion about this.
The funny thing is that Javier was actually the perfect choice for that horse.
That's what you said.
Specifically because of the way he doesn't get out of the gate, and Javier's so good out of the gate, and he clearly turned out to be the perfect choice for him.
They made the announcement on a Wednesday, and we talked about it Thursday. You don't remember this?
No.
Or was it a different time? I figured.
My memory for anything beyond 6 years is tremendous. In the last 5 are a blur.
This is the last time we're going to say this. This starts the middle pick 4.
Thank you. Race number 4, 6 furlongs in the turf. Jill's a hot mess. Is going to take a lot of money in here. And I'm going to show her race 2 back, her last turf race, and then I'm going to show you a stat. Listen, she is the most accomplished turf sprinter in this race.
Yeah. Oh, no question about it. And she has plenty of speed. She gets a Kentucky Derby winning rider on her back.
He was lucky. He shouldn't have ridden Mage, apparently. He was the wrong rider for the horse, apparently. Steve confirms that you were right, that we had that discussion. So.
What do we think about the fact that they could have run this horse in the 45 against State Breds, which I believe is coming up in a week or so? for the waiver.
I won't be shocked if this horse wins.
Never mind. Couldn't be.
But I'll be somewhere in the vicinity as we show you a trainer stat for trainer Bonnie Lucas, and this is her stats at Naira over the last year. She's 1 for 58 with a 16-cent ROI. She is, she was 6 for 88 overall, but 1 for 58. So I thought that was worth pointing out since she sort of took over the training from these horses for Wayne Potts, and I kind of thought that was important.
I think we should add a sound effect to Naira Bets, where if a horse wins, you can hit the button and tear your tickets.
I got to get rid of the sound effects. That sound effect gets me on the TV show all the time. I log into my account and it starts singing and dancing. My thing, it's got that sound.
We should add it to like a ticket tear. There should be a ticket tear on there because if this horse wins, I'm tearing.
I like the ticket tear. I'm thinking when my picks run badly, it should be like a vomiting sound on my phone.
You should have a dunce cap.
Right. I've got one. I've got several. The number 6, Spicy Margarita, who we both pick in here, we'll show a race at Laurel, and I'm assuming you and I both have the same opinion. This horse just came alive on the turf.
How good was this horse on the grass last time? This horse, you're more of the figure guy than me. This figure could have been bigger.
I don't disagree with you.
This horse ran giant.
And it's funny, when you see a horse and the other speeds fell apart. I mean, this was some performance. And
I actually watched this replay, by the way, and I watched this horse kick away. Right, she just did it when she switched. She kicked away.
They're kind of saying this horse here to be claimed. Somebody's going to claim this horse.
Yes.
That kind of worries me a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
I looked up the pedigree, thinking, I'm going to throw up. This horse has absolutely no turf pedigree at all. None. Nothing I could find.
Didn't take really a lot of money for that.
How is there a sire named Alluvial when Alluvial is the dam of Coastal and Slew of Gold?
Well, I don't know.
How is there a sire?
Well, she probably didn't. Was she a graded stakes one? I don't remember. I mean, it's a little
probably not, but it still feels sacrilegious to me. Alluvial was an unbelievably great broodmare.
They let some interesting names through.
Yeah, I got problems with that. It's like there aren't enough possible names out there that they have to name horses after.
You know what I hate? I hate when the harness horses get named after the thoroughbreds.
Somehow that doesn't bother me as much because you could argue it's a little bit of a tribute.
I remember being like 13 years old and seeing an easy goer at Roosevelt one night, and I flipped out.
Well, if he wasn't good, it would be really upsetting.
He wasn't good.
Yeah, that's not right. I mean, they could change the name of that.
Like
Who's that Bulldog Hanover, the easy goer? You'd have been okay with that.
Yeah, absolutely. But like non-win is a non-win is a 5 in his last 6 starts.
I like you I saw this race and thought this horse just looked very good, and honestly, if the race comes apart a little bit, the 6 doesn't reproduce the form, I have no problem with Strong Odor.
No, me either.
I mean, this horse is just run against better horses and seems awfully logical coming into this spot.
But
I don't love the dump. Beginning of the turf season, dump. Beginning of the season, a million races to be run. Yeah. But I won't be surprised if this horse wins. Maybe they've had enough. But like you, I was very impressed.
Very impressed.
I want to make it a keeper. With our friend Rob Masiello, do you think will we ever see him again?
I don't know.
There hasn't been a sighting. He's like Bigfoot.
Nobody even talks. You don't notice nobody talks about Bigfoot anymore. Loch Ness Monster.
They've given up.
Right. The Bermuda Triangle. Nobody talks about the Bermuda Triangle anymore.
No, what happened? People stopped getting lost there?
Or maybe too many people got lost there. It's like
you,
Fight Club,
knowing how ridiculous you are, were probably like lost sleep over the Bermuda Triangle. You probably begged your mom, don't ever take me to the Bermuda Triangle.
List of the things I've lost sleep over in my life.
I guarantee the Bermuda Triangle is in there.
It absolutely was.
Not the Loch Ness Monster. I feel if there's a Loch Ness Monster, he's actually a friendly monster.
You think so?
Yeah, we don't hear any stories of him showing up and thrashing around, right?
The pictures are so ominous looking.
It's because they're all fake.
You know what's funny about the Bermuda Triangle? I figured out what you and I are going to do when we retire.
Go to the Bermuda
MIT
Triangle.
has a pirate school. If you pass rifle, fencing, sailing, and archery, they make you a
I am
pirate.
1 for 4. I am 1 for 4. I can shooting. No, archery. When I was in camp, I was a sharp. One of the little badges.
We can become full.
There's going to be no
pirates.
sailing or fencing.
Why?
In my future?
No
archery. Believe me, you want to be around me with a bow and arrow? You're insane.
There's
race
a few
number
people
5.
I don't want to be around with a bow and arrow.
So race number 5 is a big mess. So I went off the reservation.
Okay.
Because
that's a lot.
I'm going to tell you, I totally understand the 2, 5, and 12. And you had to pick a horse that's named for a Mets pitcher.
Yes, even though it's a filly.
Mets have spent too much money for me. I'm telling you right now. I've lost my enthusiasm.
Phyllis is a big proponent of that. She also does not like Francisco Alvarez.
That's why I turned on the Yankees. Trying to buy championships. I'm saying trying to buy championships just doesn't work. It's no fun. It's no fun. You want to try to have
fun when your pitching staff's average age
it's
is
not
37.
it's not that they're mediocre. It's that because they'll end up being fine. I don't have the enthusiasm for it.
I agree.
So I want to start with Limani, the Chad Brown horse dropping, who can obviously win, and show you the beginning of this horse's one dirt race. I'm trying to remember exactly why I'm showing you it. Was the number 5 horse in this race. Broke very well.
Broke like a shot.
Had plenty of speed, but ultimately just sort of came apart. And, I mean, this horse is probably one of the worst horses in Chad Brown's barn. I guess that she can win, and they're probably just running her where she belongs, right?
Mm-hmm.
30,
she's going to be a terrible price.
Yeah, and she may win.
She can absolutely win the race. I put a 4.
She's not much.
She's going to be a terrible price. That race,
Well, Bavarian Cream turned out to be good, and
she ran off. It was a 10-month layoff, but she broke so well, and then was a complete.
It was 7.
Yeah,
she was awful.
She was terrible from the cold.
I agree. I have trouble taking her. And as far as Alice Cramden, I mean, this is just a giveaway. This horse took no money first time out, ran against some real horses, and it's not Gambling Girl at that time wasn't really good. She obviously good later. Miracles turned out to be okay at times. But I don't know. Do you have any confidence that this horse is really any good?
No.
She's just a face you have to use in the race, right?
Yep.
And as far as your pick, the 12, I don't know, Anthony.
No, I have no confidence in this horse.
I mean,
0 confidence. I'm betting this horse off the trainer change to Bruce, whose horses have been running, the surface switch.
Well, it's an obvious switch, obviously.
Yeah.
Bruce is going to train for Roddy up here and Dorsino down in Florida, right?
But I mean, there's a lot of red flags. The horse hasn't run in almost 2 months.
Horse's first race.
Right away.
I mean, granted, the horse comes out of a very, very tough main race first time out. This horse was absolutely awful.
Dreadful. I know.
But will have some speed on the outside, and I don't disagree with you in certain ways. This is the sexy, more appealing horse because hasn't been on dirt. The other ones are a little bit more fancied up. Mm-hmm. I don't know. So I'm going to make my case for the 8 for all the girls. For all the girls, broke about 3/4 of a length slow in that race and did no running. I'm not going to defend their performance, but I will tell you one thing. That is a super live race this horse comes out of. This is the keyest of races out of a bad maiden race you'll find. The winner ran 13 buyer points higher. The second horse, 21 buyer points higher. That race has turned out to be a much, much more live race than it looks. Gets lay 6 for the second start. Nick Juarez riding this horse? I got to be careful in this chair. I'm going to end up.
So far. I'm surprised that was the first incident. We almost got through the first half without it.
Believe me, I've been very ginger sitting on it.
Yeah, usually you're jumping around there.
I thought Nick rode well down at Oaklawn. I'm going to take a little shot with this horse coming out of a race that I can make a much stronger race. And obviously with a 6 buyer, it better be a lot stronger. But I don't want anybody in here, and I can make a little bit of a case for a horse that's going to be 1,000,000 to 1.
You want to make a case for a horse in here, I have no problem.
Right. It just seems like that kind of race. That's the first 5. We'll be back with the late pick 4 after a quick break.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
The third member of the Dogging Horses team, Zeppo, told me Joey Martinez, not Nick Juarez, riding the horse. I'm fine. Listen, that's a goofy horse. I'm just going to take a shot with him. Race number 6. We'll start with Can't Hurry Love and Lady Milagro in that battle they had back at Aqueduct when Lady Milagro took a tough beat, and she came back to wire the field in a tough turf race in her next start. She's back in the dirt. She's equi-talented on both surfaces.
She is.
And she's going to go. I understand the temptation. I think this race comes down to whether you want to take the Aqueduct Warriors or whether or not you want to take the new faces coming up from Florida. And I'm not saying I have an answer, to be honest with you, but I feel like there's going to be a lot of appeal to the sexiness of Florida sunshine coming up here. And Cannery Love has done nothing but run giant lately, and especially since she got out of that Clement barn, She got out of that poisonous Clement barn.
I knew you were going to say it.
Christoph, if you stayed here this winter, she could have run well for you. I'm the guy who wants him to stay here this winter. I miss making fun of him during the, winter. It's a harsh winter without him. She really has blossomed. You know what? She's 5-2 morning line. I think it's a very fair price on her. I'm going to take her. I have nothing against the Florida horses, but you're going to go more for the Florida routine. And I did not put the replay up of your horse. We'll show Rosebud, and we can talk about both of them. Do you really believe? I mean, I'm going to give you some stats in this 90 buyer that Rosebud got. The second place finisher, 78-60, 87-35. The third horse was a Todd horse that had run 70s and ran a 66. So other than the second place finisher, this figure holds up. So I don't know exactly what to make of it. And I remembered, I was reminded with Rosebud that I made a big bet on this horse because the horse was wide against a gold rail 3 races back.
The sloppy start.
And then didn't show up at all in that race against Lady Scarlet. Went wrong. Obviously, I wish I had seen she was running last time out. And then there's You Look Cold, who I agree is a little bit more appealing, the two of them, because she has the 2 races. But Rosebud's last race might just be really good.
You got to believe it.
Well,
where does that race come from?
Well, I think this horse had ability as a 2 or 3-year-old that just is sort of buried in the form and got older and got over some issues. So I don't think it's totally ridiculous.
They were high on this horse. They were high. I remember them being high on this horse as a 2-year-old. And she ran. I mean, she ran behind Jerry Mander.
She ran fine her first start.
She did. She ran fine her first.
I don't know why they ran her on turf in her next 2 starts.
That's why you bet her.
Right. That's why I liked her a lot in that the race in the slot. But I thought she ran. She was against the track, going too far. I think both the Mott horses are live, but I'm going to go to the one we've seen here this winter. But I don't have a strong opinion. I'm not. I won't be surprised if Lady Milagro wires the field.
I won't
She's
either.
in raging form.
I wouldn't either.
I tried to make a case for Bank on Anna. It just seems like her one big fig was when things were going so well for the Serpy barn, and the rest of the races they're not good enough. There's too many horses near. They're faster than she is. Yeah. That's ultimately where I went. But I think it's interesting, this race, because I do think both Motts might be A-OK. But so are the horses we saw this winter. And unlike you, I'm going to stay loyal to the New York-based horses.
Big A? Okay. I'll stay loyal to Bill Mott.
The race number 7, I have absolutely no argument against the horse you have on top.
Just a horse you're never going to pick that.
You're
never going to pick a horse
like that. No,
I
could pick this horse. We'll show the last turf race, which was, I think, 2 races back. No, this horse would just be better than
And you're kind of committed to Lady Thornton after betting her off the
layoff
last
time. A little bit.
Yeah,
but it just feels like don't mess with Tess with Irad, and so obvious it's going to be crazy short price. And
she's 3 to 5.
I just don't need to take horses at these short prices. Am I against her? No, I'm not an idiot. The interesting horse in here is Freudian, by the way. I was tweeting with Rob about it. This horse is a foal to a horse that won at 5.5 furlongs. At Gulfstream, I think at Gulfstream the other day, there's another horse in the pedigree that's a good horse. So there is plenty of turf, and the full overanalyzed. So there's plenty of turf to think of. And it's funny, I remember you and I talking about Freudian when she won, I think last time, came up. What's Rob going to do with her now that she's lost her conditions? Well, he does the right thing. He sees if she can run on the turf. Now,
and he gets to do it on a free roll in the starter race.
Yeah, well, I don't think he's, because her next move is going to be cheaper. There's nothing he can really do about it. But the reality of it is that it's the right move because he's taking a shot in the turf. Mm-hmm. And I think I didn't put her in I have her either 5th. I could have put her higher, but I don't think she's impossible. From Below actually ran okay last time. We're going to show the From Below Lady Thornton race. And I think that From Below got a much better trip. Lady Thornton broke out badly. But the one thing she did do for Katie that I had hoped she would do, and one of the things I liked about her, was she settled for her. She relaxed for her. And she didn't fight her the whole way. And she ended up making the wider move. She had that, really no fault of Katie, but whereas From Below was able to save ground and angle out. I got to give Lady Thornton one more chance. She's a horse that showed ability when she didn't fight her rider, and I thought she ran kindly for Katie. It was coming off a layoff. She didn't run great, but she didn't run badly. The winner just ran off from the field. I don't expect her to beat the one, but she has the only horse that I could take to try to beat her, so I took her on top.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to take the chalk,
right?
And like I said, that's a horse that you are rarely going to. You're not going to take that horse. You're going to try and find somebody, and then you have a horse that you are kind of married to one more start, and not for nothing. She'll be.
I don't think she ran the battery last time.
No, she didn't, and she'll be 8-10 to 1.
Right. Except Temptation's not impossible in here. She just never wins. She's 1 for 21. They're obviously all 1-fers. Boy, did she get an easy trip last time. But you could argue that.
Hey, wait a second here. I must have made a mistake. I have no Bella Principessa on here.
That was a wise move on your part.
No Clasaris.
Did you? Oh, my God. What do you get, one a year?
I have to change that.
What do you get, one a year?
I get Freud. I was because of the Freudian conversation from last
time. Gold Fever won the 1996 Naira Mile before it became the Cigar Mile. Why do I feel like it was like a 15-horse field?
Giant field.
Right? Is Flying Chevron in there? Or he went the next year?
Flying Chevron won it the next year.
Yeah.
Robbie Davis.
Yeah.
For Jimmy Toner, right? Yeah.
Yes.
That was the first Cigar Mile.
Was it 97 they changed the cigar?
Yeah.
96, I did the Prattle. I was working here at that
96.
time.
Wow.
So we both have Squire Creek on top. We'll show his race at Keeneland. I think he may be too fast for these horses.
I could not agree more. He's fast. This horse is flat out fast. I mean, his maiden race was good. Maiden race comes up a couple of points faster on the Bayer scale than his last race, but that was first time against winners. He was under the gun from the rail. He dealt with some other speed early, and then he just kept going.
Do we worry about Lasix off?
Yeah, I mean, you always have. I think you have to worry. This is the day.
Favorite.
This is the day and age that we deal with. This is the day and age we live in now. Yeah.
In general, it doesn't matter. We make a bigger deal about it than we should.
Right.
In general, it doesn't matter. The trainers know it. The trainers know what they're doing.
It's going to be a case-to-case thing. But I mean, this horse is just too fast. I mean, to me, on paper, this horse is just too fast.
So, Drew's Gold is back. And last time we saw Drew's Gold, he crushed Joey Freshwater, who subsequently came back and won the Bayshore. And I know Gilmore ran much better in running third in the Pate Mile at Churchill, but I thought Gilmore probably should have won this race, and he was a little green, and he got himself in some trouble and came running late. So I'm not sure we can say that it's not surprising he improved. I don't know. I'm not a big Joey Freshwater fan. Overall, I'm not a big fan of the Bayshore.
But don't these horses have to chase it? I mean,
well, I know Drew's Gold's rated. Drew's Gold rated 2 back and 1.
Right.
So no, I think he can stalk.
But you'd have to imagine the Barnes and Descend prove right after Squire Creek.
They are. But
right.
He's going to have trouble keeping up with
Squire Creek.
And you could
say, well, he's going to have a lot of trouble keeping up with Squire Creek.
So is Andiamo Firenze.
Yeah, and you could say, well, that's going to set it up for Drew's Gold. I don't know. I don't like this horse.
Okay. I don't love Joey Freshwater.
I'd rather have Joey Freshwater than him.
What about Tuskegee Airman?
Tuskegee Airman. Yeah.
I mean, can you? I was shocked when I looked and saw this horse was favored in the Remsen.
I didn't remember that.
It was favored in the Remsen off a win at Delaware. They loved him or something. There was some big story. They loved him. Arctic Arrogance has gone on to be okay. Dubinell is hasn't run a competitive race since, right? I know he's a little interested in cutting back. I mean, he's obviously using this race as a prep, but I'm always a little interested.
We see
in
the race
like
the same
this.
way. We just disagree over Joey Freshwater and Drew's Gold.
All right. Race number 9. Race number 9 is probably the most interesting race of the day. We will start by showing Tactical Joke's first race because he did run well in his first race. I mean, he breaks slowly, which you don't see from Wesley Ward that often, and he has some legitimate trouble. He is the China Horse Club horse. He's actually back to last in here. This is also just to show you how unfair it is to racing fans that you lose a race, you go to that angle, and then you come back to too close to them. This horse was really running at the end of the race, and that's one of the reasons I showed that. I want to show the trouble. I want to show the silly camera shot, and he was running, but it was a 5-furlong race at Gulfstream. And I think the winner's okay, but I don't know. Do you really want this horse at 7 furlongs now suddenly? He's on the rail now. He will make a real run at the end. He makes a real run at these horses, and nobody else did.
What price do you think he's going to be?
I don't know. What price is he morning line? That's the price I think he'll be. Whatever price David made him. 7-2, 3-1. David has him 4-1. Oh, it's another Jose Ortiz. He's piling up the races for Wesley.
Yeah, I don't know. I put him second. You got him third.
You just like Rugula. Is that how you spell Rugula?
I don't think
Getting
that's
hungry.
Rugula.
I love Rugula.
Chocolate or
doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
I'm in for all Rugula.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Widely open.
As you are not going to be surprised with this, so am I.
This horse ran second to that super fast horse for Safi Joseph.
Yeah.
I don't know how good she is, but she's super fast.
She's fast. I like the rider change to Joelle, obviously.
Weird spot to go from 5 furlongs in the turf to a 1.70 on the synthetic, right?
Now back to 7/8 on the grass. She actually ran a bigger fig on the synthetic than she did on the turf.
Yeah. No. She's.
But that was
she's
a fast.
that
was a fast race on the grass. So.
There's another horse for Graham Motion that's a Lope de Vega. I mean, you think that horse is impossible in here?
No.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on here.
What's the Mott? It's just Mott Love that you're putting in this horse with no turf pedigree?
They got the one breeze at Payson, the two breezes at Payson, 101 and some change. You know what? There's so much going on here. This horse is going to be a big price.
She has turf pedigree, and Fast Cookie's the second dam. She's the dam of Frosted, but she was a turf horse herself. Not really my cup of tea, but thought there were so many other things going on in here. I think Todd Pletcher's horse is dangerous. There's Violence has been effective as a turf sire. The dam was a turf winner. This horse got bet first time out. That was another race. The Great Maybe has gone on. That was the Le Al horse that ran so well for Cherie, and I don't think those has run well at all.
You can make a case for like 7 of them.
You can make a case for a lot of these horses in here. My case for reflexivity, and I may have picked the wrong Chad Brown horse. I left the other one out, and the other one, the second dam, is gigantic turf.
I left them both out and a Bob Glasaris today.
Yeah, it's a bad day for you. I mean, you're turning a corner, maybe. The second dam was 7 for 14 in the turf. She was very, very good. The dam herself won, I think, one race on the turf out of 4. It was a mile race in California, I believe. This is her second foal. But as far as reflexivity, she was chasing a pace that just completely and totally evaporated last time out. And the whole field, they just came from absolutely nowhere. And I thought it was a solid enough race. And I like horses that were close to paces and races that collapsed. Now, this horse wasn't bet first time, which is probably not a good sign. But I liked the way she ran, so I'm going to give her a shot in here. But I won't be surprised if either Chad Brown wins. I just put this one on top.
Okay. That's why I left
this is a good race, though.
It is. I left both of them off and tried to have a little fuzzy with Mayfain just for the simple fact that neither Chad took any money.
Yeah, no. I get that.
That's weird. To see not one but 2.
Well, wait a second. The first Chad ran against Prank first time. I hope we're going to see her again sometime.
I forgot all about her.
Yeah, I did too. I didn't forget all about her. I thought somebody told me that she was training.
Then off the second to Prank, she's 9-2.
Prank is a Todd Pletcher horse for Eclipse Stable, who's very, very impressive first time out. And then she didn't really run that well in her second start. She does get Lasix. Anyway, fun card today.
And grass.
Starting a good weekend of racing as well. Head over to Naira Bets. If you're not a member of Naira Bets, no better time than the present to become a member of Naira Bets. Use the promo code MATCH200, and we will match for $200 of your initial deposit. Also, we have a $15 earn $15, bet 75 or more in Belmont and Santa Anita. Opt in at Naira Bets, $15 win or lose. We have the middle pick 4 in race 3, 2, 3, and 6 for the pick 4s. At some point, we're just going to assume you know this. That point is coming sooner and sooner, actually. And finally, last but not least, 2 to 5:30. America's Day at the Races, covering races from here and Churchill. For Anthony and I, have a great day. Johnny I getting warmed up with a reprise of the Scratches and Changes in just a few minutes. Have a great day.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.